All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Zero Filter podcast. We're already in episode 4, which is just crazy to think about considering how inconsistent I've always been with the uploads. This is the most consistent I've ever uploaded on this channel, to be honest. And it's been really fun. It's been really fun, and it's been great to see all the love and support for each of these episodes. And going forward, I'm just going to have a lot more guests too, because I know this episode and the last, it's just been a solo act between me and you guys. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun for me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you haven't already. It really helps me a lot with motivation and really wanting to push more of these out. So I really appreciate all the love, guys. It really means a lot to me. And so, with the formalities out of the way, let's get right into the topic of discussion for today, and that is the stock market and how it's been in the last week or two. It has been unbelievable to see the movement of certain stocks like GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of these stocks on the news or on your social media. This is really a topic that's been popping amongst people my age, folks older than us, really everyone who's involved in money or maybe even not, you know? And so, yeah, especially GameStop. A lot of people have been talking about that. And I just wanted to briefly share my thoughts because there was a lot going on that affected me personally, but also a lot of my friends who were invested in these companies. Um, and yeah, this is really a movement that's bigger than you or me, that I personally believe. And yeah, we're gonna dive a lot deeper into it. So before we begin, it's important to know what exactly is going on. So I actually have this little Instagram post right in front of me to kind of explain the situation. I tried like 3 times before this take to try to explain it myself, and I did an absolutely terrible job. But yeah, I have this post right in front of me to kind of just read off what's going on. So this post here that I have is by IG user not VAI, and I'll just read it from the top. So first, you need to understand what a short is in trading. And before I even get into this first, I am not a financial advisor, guys, in any way. This channel has nothing to do with investing or money. This is simply a podcast that talks about different topics that are happening in the world. And this is just anything that I say regarding a particular stock is solely my opinion, but it's also based on facts and the opinions of others, especially since during this time we're all sort of unified right now in this movement. But choose to invest and put your money into any stock at your own risk. Uh, and yeah, I just wanted to leave that out first. So, a short is when you borrow a stock from a broker and sell it immediately at its current price. Then you hope the stock's price falls such that you can buy the stock back at a lower price and return the shares you borrowed to your broker, but keeping the difference. So that just means you just want to make sure that you're profiting. But shorts in this particular case are hedge funds and the top 1% who have been known to be keeping this GameStop and AMC stock down, thus making both of the companies extremely undervalued for its current stock price. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So, an example of shorting, let's say you want to short XYZ, which has a current price of $10. You borrow one share and then sell it immediately at the same exact price of $10. Now you've got $10, but you owe the broker the one share that you borrowed. Then let's say the price of XYZ drops to $7, so a $3 decrease. You now decide to cover it, meaning buying it back, your short position, and then you buy one share at $7 and return the one borrowed share to your broker. You made $10 when you sold, and then you only have to pay $7 to buy it back. So the $3 difference is what you come away with, which is the profit. Now, let's say that instead of the XYZ price dropping to $7, it goes up to $15. You still have to return the one borrowed share to your broker, except now it's going to cost a lot more to buy it back. If you buy it back at $15, you can return the borrowed shares. The losses will be the $5 difference between the 10 that you originally bought it with and then rebuying it at the higher $15. Since the price can rise indefinitely, your potential losses as a short seller are unlimited. At some point, you have to buy it back to return the shares borrowed. The more the price rises, the bigger your losses. So before I even get into GameStop in particular, what's going on here is that these hedge funds and these corporations depend on the stock going down in order to profit. The hedge funds are betting against a company so that they can profit. And as a result of that, the company is always going to stay undervalued. And I think that's what this whole community, that's the message that the whole community is trying to push out, that we as the average Joes have the power, if we collectively come together, to fight these hedge funds and fight these corporations and Wall Street and prevent them from pushing the stock down by constantly buying and holding. And so now I'm going to read off what's happening with GameStop in particular. Now for GameStop, a few weeks ago, a Redditor on our Wallstreetbets, and we'll get into that as well, noticed that a hedge fund had taken a massive amount of short trades against GameStop. They convinced everyone on the thread to join forces and buy as much GameStop stock as possible. This made the price rise, and the hedge fund's short position started to lose billions. Their losses even surpassed the $13.1 billion that the hedge fund was worth. Eventually, the hedge fund had to close their short positions and buy all the GameStop. I keep messing up GameStop stock back at much, much higher prices, setting the price even higher still. This is called a short squeeze. Now, the hedge fund is declaring bankruptcy, and the Reddit thread is combing through other hedge funds with massive short exposure so they can short and squeeze them into bankruptcy as well. All of Wall Street is saying that the public joining together in this fashion should be illegal, but they really just lost at their own game to the masses. So I'm going to try to break all that stuff down as best as I can, even though like this is not quite too, I'm not really an expert at all this stuff, but I can comprehend it enough to try to explain it to you. So what's going on here? Like I explained, the shorts depend on the stock going down in order to profit. And when the stock continues to increase, the shorts have to cover, meaning buy the shares at a higher price, in addition to what's going on now, where so many people are also buying these particular stocks, meaning, and that collectively becomes what's called a short squeeze, where not only are we buying the stock, but the hedge funds are forced to buy as well. And thus the price goes up to however much we want it to go up, essentially. So yeah, all in all, this whole movement has resulted in a lot of hedge funds losing billions of dollars, and it's been great to see. I'm going to walk you guys through Wallstreetbets and what they've been saying as well, but first I just want to explain what happened in the last week. So now that you know the background, we know the story and the movement that we've all been trying to push, where we're only buying, we're only holding, but we're not selling, right? But what happened on Thursday was probably one of the most disgraceful things that I've ever seen, not only in my experience trading, but just from everything that I've ever seen in the market growing up. Obviously, I know a little bit about the financial crisis in 2008, but I wasn't old enough to really comprehend exactly the effects that it had on the average person. And so now that I'm old enough to really understand how, not necessarily how the market works, but just knowing the market itself as an investor myself, what happened Thursday was just ridiculous. There's no excuse for it. And I believe these people who need to be held accountable should be imprisoned for what they did. All right, so let's start off with Wednesday. Wednesday was when I personally got into the GameStop stock as well as AMC. I think I put a little bit of money into Nokia. I can't remember, but I'm not Nokia anymore. I just want to point that out. I was gonna buy the stocks when Robinhood decided to crash. Just the platform. The platform was not working, and yeah, you can say that from an operational standpoint, there was probably so many people on the platform at the same time that I guess things glitched, right? That's fair. But you would see the same thing happening with TD Ameritrade and other brokers. So you're like, fine, like maybe this whole Reddit thing, it's so strong that you have millions of people trying to buy one or two stocks, three or four stocks at the same exact time. So yeah, sure. You're going to have a lot of glitching because of site traffic and things along that nature. Fair, but I eventually did get into GME and AMC as I had intended to, and I still hold positions in both of them right now. The next day, which is Thursday, it comes out. I wake up at like 8 o'clock just to kind of monitor because I'm so excited. I'm like, yo, GameStop, AMC, we're gonna make some bank today. We're gonna make a shitload of money. We're gonna make a shitload of money. GameStop was supposed to open at $500 a share, and I'll get into GameStop, like the stock movement of the last week or two in a little bit. GameStop was supposed to open at $500 a share, which is a massive increase from the day before. And AMC was to open at around, I want to say $22 a share, which is also a massive increase from where it closed a day or two before. It's supposed to be a great day. And then Robinhood announces that they were going to ban all buying orders on the platform, and that if you were already holding a position, the only thing that you could do on the platform was sell your position. Think about that. You have all this hype building up. You have all this hype building up to pump GameStop, to pump AMC, to pump Nokia and BlackBerry, and also Naked Brand and Sundial, even Dogecoin, right? There's a huge push going on for Dogecoin. And Robinhood decides to tell you that, yeah, with all this hype, you're not going to buy. Too bad. I'm sorry. Like, you can't do anything about it. The only thing that you can do is if you're already holding a position, the only thing you can do is get rid of it. What is the message that you're hearing from this decision right here? In my eyes, I think what that's telling me as an investor is that you are supporting these hedge funds. You're supporting the top 1% because they are funding you, and you feel an obligation to take money from all of us in order to support them. Because when you're not buying and you can only sell, the only thing that can happen at this point is for the stock to tank. And that's exactly what happened to GameStop and AMC and all these other companies. On Thursday, just looking throughout the entire day, most people were not able to buy the stock. And as a result, they all tanked to a certain extent. Obviously recovered as soon as people got the opportunity to switch brokers and buy in. But Robinhood was the leader of the pack that made that decision and fucked up so many people. And it makes me, and this is like me reacting to this like just a few days later when things have calmed down a little bit. I'm telling you, on Thursday, when I heard of these news, I wanted to punch whoever was accountable or responsible for this right in the face, right in the jaw, because it's messed up. I don't care how small my account might be or the next person, how big anyone's account might be, but people are losing money out of their own will, out of their own control. As a broker, you are supposed to support a free market where people can buy any stock of their choice, where people can take their own risk. Robinhood claims that they were protecting the companies and the investors by making that decision for no one to be able to buy. That is ridiculous. That is fucked up. That is illegal. Okay? You can't. You just have to let people take their own risk. I understand. If the pump slows, if the pump dies down, if the hype goes away, people are going to lose money for holding too long. I think everybody knows this. That's just how the market works. That's how pump and dumps work. You know, but all right. Before I go off, this is a very complex issue. Even Robinhood to this day, I know on Friday they allowed buying orders again, but under like a particular limit. I'm just gonna look at it right now. I'm actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna talk to, or I'm gonna react to a couple videos that I have right in front of me where the CEO of Robinhood explains why he did this. And you're just gonna hear the bullshit. You're gonna hear, excuse me. You are gonna hear the excuses and flat out lies for the matter. Yeah, I'll just let you guys hear for yourselves. Let's see. How long did I go on that little tangent for? I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right. So, share sound, share screen. This was the post that I was reading off of. This person, I think, did a really good job of explaining the whole short thing and the whole situation to people who might not be familiar with stocks. And if you guys don't understand just that introduction, there are so many videos on YouTube that kind of go into it. But yeah, I think they did a good enough job that you guys should be good. I know I'm a shitty explainer, so that's my fault. But all right, let's hear a couple of interviews and see what these guys have to say, or what this guy has to say.
I want to bring in the CEO of Robinhood. Vlad Atenev is with us right now, and we appreciate you joining us on a day where there are so many questions. And as Melissa just said, there are, frankly, as you know, a lot of angry customers out there and a lot of questions about what took place and the decisions that you made to limit so many of your customers' ability to buy stocks like GameStop. Questions about whether you have a liquidity problem, whether you're trying to protect them from themselves, whether Citadel did this. Explain what happened today.
Thank you for having me on the show again, Andrew. So what happened today was, as you pointed out, we had to make a very difficult decision. It's been a challenging day. We made the decision in the morning to limit the buying of about 13 securities on our platform. So,
and here's the thing too, right? You heard him say 13 securities. You know the hype is building up. Why do you halt buying on 13 particular ones? You might as well just freeze the whole market if you're going to do it for these reasons, but let's get into it.
So to be clear, customers could still sell those securities if they had positions in them. And they could also trade in the thousands of.
So before we go on, Robinhood, halted GameStop. I didn't talk about American Airlines, but that's there. Express, BlackBerry, Beyond, Bed Bath & Beyond, Nokia, COS, AMC, Sundial, Trivago, Castor Maritime, Naked Brand, and Tootsie. These are all stocks that have known to be shorted, and the Reddit community noticed this and collectively decided to come together to support them by buying their stock. Robinhood on Thursday did not allow you to buy to support these companies.
Other securities on our platform. So it was a difficult decision, and that's what we had to do as part of normal operations.
But explain then, why did you do this? What, did the SEC call you and tell you you had to do this? Was there a problem inside the company in terms of liquidity, in terms of the amount of deposits that you had to put it in front to the exchanges? What led to this?
Sure, and let me explain exactly how this works. First of all, I want to address some of the misinformation that's been out there, because there's a lot of it. We absolutely did not do this at the direction of any market maker or hedge fund or anyone we route to or other market participants. The reason we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets, and they can be substantial in the current environment where there's a lot of volatility and a lot of concentrated activity in these names that have been going viral on social media. So we're really in unprecedented times, and in order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks. And to be absolutely clear, Go ahead.
You can just hear this guy lying through his teeth. And the interview, I think, later on does ask a very valid question about liquidity and how that plays a role and why Robinhood did this. Let's hear it.
But it sounds to me, though, that you're suggesting that there was a liquidity problem inside the firm. And my question about that then raises all sorts of new questions about whether there's a systemic issue underneath the system and underneath the company unto itself.
No, there was no liquidity problem. And to be clear, this was done preemptively. So we did this proactively, and thousands of other securities remain tradable on the platform. Customers that held these positions were able to sell them. And we're doing what we can to allow buying and to remove these restrictions in the morning. But also, you might have seen Robinhood has been the #1 app in the App Store overall. So we have seen.
No one cares about the ratings, bro. No matter how good your ratings might be, if you make a decision like this, and trust me, like if you go to the Google Play ratings, just after this whole incident happened, you'll see it went from, I want to say, like 3 stars to maybe 1 star or less than that. I'm gonna have to fact check that, but yeah, bro, you don't have to cite your ratings to justify a terrible decision like this. That just doesn't add to your argument, man.
Seen unprecedented interest due to the fact that finance has been culturally relevant in a way that hasn't been before, and these stocks are going viral on social media. And I think it's really interesting to juxtapose against some of the other questions that we've been having before this. Of course, Robinhood stands for everyday investors. From the very beginning, we have stood for investors, opening up access and giving them the ability to trade commission-free in whatever they want. And we've gotten a lot of criticism that, maybe there should be more restrictions. So it pains us to have had to impose these restrictions, and we're going to do what we can to enable trading in these stocks as soon as we can.
Shepard Smith.
All right, so that's one interview. I don't think this really encapsulates everything, but literally look at the ratio. Look at the 2.1K likes to 23,000 dislikes. People know, man. Like, you are literally lying through your teeth. He's not lying when he says protecting our customers. It's just that his customers aren't who you think they are. The customers that Robinhood right now are trying to protect are the hedge funds and these corporations, the 1%, Wall Street, the people who are funding Robinhood. That's who they're protecting, not us. They are taking money away from us in order to support the 1%. Oh my God. Like, normally I don't really care about this whole like elite stuff. I don't really talk about it much, but this is just such a blatant example of it. How can you not be mad? Especially when so many people like you and me, the average Joes, just trying to support a company that literally has a reputation of being suppressed by these rich people. To see your own broker contribute to the problem pisses me off, man. And I'm going to walk you guys through one other interview by Chris Cuomo. That's his name. He literally grilled this man. Let's watch it. It's actually kind of entertaining. Let's see.
I want you to address the obvious.
This looks like a move by an outfit called Robinhood, which is supposed to be taken from the rich and given to the poor, and doing exactly the opposite. That when the big guys, including one of your main investors in your company, started to lose, you shut down the game to starve the little guy. Fair criticism.
That's not what it is at all. And I know you started this segment. It really resonated with me because you described the story of Robinhood. Robinhood started 5 years ago by pioneering commission-free, no-account minimum mobile investing. And we've been the spokesperson of the individual investor. And our whole goal as an institution is to enable those customers, empower them, and give them access to the markets. Because for the longest time, markets have been only accessible to the wealthy. And so the entire industry adopted our business model in 2019. And in 2020, we added millions of new customers. The entire industry added millions of new customers who took advantage of the market rally and became investors for the very first time. So, we had to make a very difficult decision to protect our customers and our firm.
Why?
But we in no way
why? Explain why you had to do it if it wasn't to protect the guys who had shorted the stocks, which are the big hedge funds. How are you helping the little guy investors?
That's a very valid question. The reason why that Cuomo asked him this is because the decision that Robinhood made was to allow you to only sell. And by selling, you are helping the hedge funds. By buying the stock, you're driving it up, meaning you're completely going against the hedge funds and you're making them lose money. Robinhood understands that the hedge funds are losing money as a result of the stock price going up. Why is it that you are only able to sell your position, but you can't buy? That's the question. That's the overarching question that we're going to continuously have to ask ourselves throughout this entire discussion, throughout this entire thing that's going on. Why and when will Robinhood and these other brokers get their shit together and allow limitless buying? We'll get into that in a little bit.
Well, I know that there's rumors around that we were directed by market makers or other market participants to do this, and I want to be 100% clear. This decision was not made on the direction of any market maker or other market participants.
So why'd you do it?
Decision. Robinhood, as a brokerage, has lots of financial requirements, SEC requirements. We have to put up money at clearinghouses. The amount of money that we have to put up depends on market volatility, and we're in a historic situation where there's a lot of activity and a lot of buying concentrated in a relatively small number of symbols that are going viral on social media. So we haven't really seen anything like this before. And to prudently manage the risk and the deposit requirements, we had to restrict buying in these 13 stocks. But customers that held them could sell throughout. Thousands of other securities and stocks on our platform were available to freely trade. And our number one priority, as you mentioned, is to make sure our platform is reliable, stable for our customers. We're serving our customers and giving them the tools.
But that's exactly what's in question now.
We're doing everything in our power to turn it back on as soon as prudent.
But that's the thing, is that the trust is in question, because it seems like the only people who are getting hurt were the big shots. And that if they were benefiting from this, your small investors now believe that you wouldn't have shut down the game. And just one thing without getting in the weeds here. You don't control the listing venue for GameStop. Now, I used to work in finance, so I know this stuff, but the audience doesn't need to. The New York Stock Exchange does. So if anybody was going to control the listing and shut it down, it should have been them, but it wasn't. It was you. And the reason that they do it is very limited. They do it because they think there's evidence of fraud, or they think that there needs to be a material disclosure by the company that hasn't been made. And that's done to protect the investor. You check none of those boxes here because you don't control the venue. You didn't know about any information that GameStop or any of these other stocks needed to put out. You don't have any reason to believe there's fraud that you've articulated. And you're certainly not protecting these people who've been living the dream of making money, especially at the expense of the big guys. So why should people believe you did this for the right reasons?
Points. Excellent points.
Well, we have no choice. We have to comply with all financial requirements.
Oh
the SEC hasn't said you had to do this.
Well, lots of brokers have to comply with these financial requirements and have issued restrictions on some of these names. And this is a industry-wide thing. You yourself mentioned that other brokers this week have imposed restrictions. And not speaking for other firms, but for Robinhood in particular, this isn't because there's deals happening with market makers we route to or market participants.
But then why did you allow people to keep selling but not buying? The reason that is so troubling to people is that they were making money buying the stock because they were against the short side.
Yep.
And so by enabling them to sell but not buy, it sounds like you were allowing the hedge funds, and again, one of them owns a piece of you, and they had a big short position, and that looks like a stinky conflict that you didn't come out straight on from the start. Address that.
Yep.
Well, none of that had anything to do with our decision to do this. Again, this was just looking at regulatory requirements, financial requirements, and we 100% will always protect our customers, where the entire business is operating to empower individual investors and has been since its founding.
Bro, you can literally tell by just the movement of his eyes. He's got the lines right in front of him. He's repeating a lot of the things that he said in the other interview. Bro, he's following the script. Let's just finish this interview.
And that's what Robinhood is committed to continue to do. So we don't want to restrict buying in these 13 stocks. We're doing the best we can to re-enable it, as long as it's operationally and prudent from a deposit standpoint.
All right. So before we even go into Dave Portnoy, I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about those last two interviews. Cuomo, in particular, raised a lot of really good points. If Robinhood was trying to follow SEC regulations, they still have no right to do what they did, because GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, Naked, Sundial, all these companies, you can't just delist them from your platform like that unless the SEC does say something. And the only ones who can officially, rightfully delist a stock is the New York Stock Exchange, or whatever market the stocks are in. As a broker, you are supposed to enable people to do what they want at their own risk. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. I don't know how else to put it. Literally, the SEC said nothing to them. They did this on their own will, and it is so blatant and so clear that they were supporting the ones who were funding them, and that's the big boys. The big boys were responsible for, companies like AMC to literally almost go to bankruptcy. These shorts, if they completely had it their way, these companies literally would be at risk of bankruptcy. And it is because of the movement that Wallstreetbets, which is the Reddit community, I have to remember to get into that. It is because of communities like us who are willing to support and fight against what's going on in Wall Street. It's because of us that these companies are being supported the way that they're meant to and supposed to be supported. So I am just going to share my screen again and walk you guys through the Reddit community itself, because I know a lot of people don't use Reddit. A lot of people are not familiar with what's been going on as far as what people are saying. So let's see. And mind you, these hedge funds, the people who are gaining so much money from the shorting, what are they doing with their money, right? What are they doing with their money? From what I've seen with the gains that people have gotten because of GameStop, people are paying for their family members' cancer treatment. They're paying for their college debt. They're paying for they're donating to charities and hospitals for treatment of children and underrepresented communities. We are doing so many good things with the money that we've been gaining, and you don't see this a lot at all coming from these big boys. You don't see a lot of these charities, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking that it's not happening behind the curtain, but I am highly skeptical. You have seen absolute no sign of any kind of huge donations, with the exception of a few people, of course. But I have just seen so many kind gestures from people like me that it has been great motivation, and it just blows my mind. So before we get into Reddit, I have this in front of me. This is a list that is updating live as we speak. But GameStop, you can only buy one share. What the hell is that? In 5 options contracts, you can only buy 2 shares of KOSS, 10 of AMC, which is not a lot at all considering AMC's hovering right around the $13 mark right now. Express, 20 shares, 600 of Naked Brand, 600 of Genius, 700 of BlackBerry, and 2,000 of NOK. These limits shouldn't even exist at all. That's the problem. And if these limits didn't exist, we would automatically be able to take out these hedge funds in shorts easily. That's not even a question. But because these limits are set in place, and this is still better. Don't get me wrong, this is still better than what happened Thursday. On Thursday, you weren't able to buy any of these stocks at all, which is why you would see the absolute nosedive in stock price, which resulted in a lot of people panic selling and a lot of people losing a lot of money. I was down about 80% on the day as a result, but just like a lot of people, I held strong because this whole movement is bigger than me. It's bigger than the money at this point. This is really about proving a point and about the collective fight against the big dogs who literally don't do jack shit with their gains other than keep them for themselves and grow it. And I personally, all right, well, I'll get into that discussion in a little bit. Let's just walk through Reddit first. So first, this is Wall Street Bets. Someone paid for the heart surgeries. Oh, someone is going to pay for the heart surgeries of 2 children from around the world as his way of giving back from his GameStop gains. It dives literally into how he got in early, how he's been able to make a lot of money from getting in early. Too long don't read. GameStop to $10,000. Let's diamond hand this bitch. There's a lot of people who are optimistic and hopeful for the short squeeze, where the shorts are going to have to pay for the shares at a much more expensive price, on top of us buying those shares and thus creating a short squeeze where the price just skyrockets. That's the goal for this week. I'll just take you guys through the page. So basically, Wall Street Bets is a Reddit community of now 7.5 million degenerates. When I was in, we were right around, I want to say, 2 million followers. But with this whole fiasco, the group has gained a lot more traction, a lot more attention, which I think is good. Citadel is the 5th largest owner of SLV. It's imperative we do not squeeze it. Citadel is the group that actually works with Robinhood, and that was kind of the topic of discussion for a lot of the interviews that the Vlad guy was talking about. Robinhood literally works with Citadel, and Citadel was the reason why Robinhood even made that decision. But that's for a whole nother discussion. Everyone's posting about their gains, but what to do when you're down on your AMC besides hold. Head out in heavy snow because my truck is awesome to buy out a tamale vendor with a local good guy and drop them off at local free food fridges and unshoveled Chicago alleys. Bro, you look through these posts and a lot of them are just like jokes. How far is the moon? But people are actually doing really, really good things with their gains. And I'm gonna be honest for a second. I just stop sharing my screen for a second. I'm gonna be honest. This is the most unified I have seen our country in the last 4 years, and I think a lot of people have said this. A lot of people are probably already said this too. I have never seen so many people come together. Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports raised a really good point that AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Donald Trump Jr. are in agreement on the same exact topic. And that's ridiculous because you have someone who's very liberal and someone who's very, very conservative, people on complete opposite ends as far as most topics that are happening in the world come together on the same exact topic. Ted Cruz and AOC agree on this too. You have so many celebrities backing us up. You have so many politicians, believe it or not. And even people like Mark Cuban, who is a billionaire himself, but he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. So many people coming together in agreement and joining us in this fight against Wall Street. And it's been beautiful because you have so many years of just turmoil and disagreement and people who are on extreme sides of the spectrum constantly fighting. And to see finally a movement like this where everyone can get on board in support, it's been beautiful just to see, and for me especially to be a part of it. So I just want to put that out there real quick. But yeah, that's generally the Wall Street Bets thread. I would recommend any of you guys to go on it, not necessarily for the financial advice, because you're not going to find the best plays on there. I actually have been a part of this for a while, but I never found my personal plays on there. But yeah, for actual financial stuff, we'll save that for another discussion. But I would definitely check this out solely for what's going on right now, just to have a better understanding and a better idea of where this GameStop AMC thing might go. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen one more time. Gonna walk you guys through the GameStop stock, right? Let's go a month ago. A month ago, around this time, we're trading around $17 a share, $18. Someone on Reddit decides to go all in on this stock, telling people or bringing light to the idea that it was being shorted significantly by these hedge funds, right? People didn't buy into it at first. They're like, yo, this kid's stupid for putting so much money into a stock where you're not even certain is going to go up. But the cause is good, right? The cause is good. Eventually you see the price goes up slowly, and I'll bring you guys to the 5-day chart. I had a chance to get in when this thing was around $40, like last week, around $40. I had a chance and I was like, it's too late. It's too late. I'm going to end up bag holding and I'm going to end up losing a lot of money. Turns out, right, that $40 became 70, 80, 90, 100. You see it's trending along the hundreds, right, around the 26. All of a sudden, this shit jumps up to 300 something dollars, 350. You see it go down, and these dips right here are literally the hedge funds trying to bring the stock down. This is the fight that's going on right here. But you see, right? You see that for every big dip, there is somewhat of a recovery. So you see it goes down to 270. This is the day where you see how it was 470. It was 500 in the pre-market on the 28th. When Robinhood finds out or when Robinhood makes that decision to disable any buying orders, that is where it dips all the way down to around $132. And then eventually makes somewhat a recovery. Obviously not enough to reach that all-time high, but enough for a recovery, to get us around back to where we are right now, which is 325. But yeah, just seeing we literally would have opened at least $500 if Robinhood didn't make this decision. But because it did, the hedge funds had a chance to get out. The hedge funds had a chance to make some of their money back. Obviously, not all of it because they literally got burned because of us, but some of their money back. And now we are here at Sunday, anticipating tomorrow and what's to come for the next week. For AMC, and I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, I have a small position in GameStop. I'm literally balls deep in AMC. I am literally balls deep in AMC. I had a chance when it was floating around $5 for something. I was actually on the phone with my friend about this, and I decided not to get in because I didn't see a lot of potential. But with the whole GameStop fiasco, AMC is considered to be like a second play, just in support. If you couldn't afford GameStop, you can afford AMC. So it's kind of a secondary play, but for me, I'm a college student, guys. I can't afford multiple shares of GameStop like that. So what I am gonna do is put most of my money into AMC, and I'm sure a lot of people at my age and my position are gonna do the same thing. I get in when it's around $19, and I'm super late to the party considering this jump, this huge gap between $5 and $20. In the pre-market, yeah, I'm just walking you guys through. So it dips hard, it recovers, but it goes to around the same level that it reached on its high of like 20 something dollars. Look right here. This crash right here is when Robinhood made its decision to ban all the buying orders. I was awake during the pre-market and I noticed that it was hovering around $22. We would have opened somewhere around $23 if Robinhood didn't do that to us, didn't fuck us over. So as a result, we literally tank all the way down to $7.50, but I know it was less. It was literally around $6. And mind you, my average is around $18, $19. I am super late to the hype train. And to see the stock price from AMC dip all the way down to like 6 something, it broke my heart. And I wasn't upset for coming in late. I was upset because I wouldn't have even been in that situation if the goddamn broker didn't screw all of us over. And so obviously you would see a little bounce like this. It stabilizes a little more. Just looking at the 1-day chart for Friday, you can see that we did well. Obviously some hedge fund manipulation type of shit going on here. And then we steadily stabilize into the after hours. And now we are sitting at 1346 coming into Monday. And I'm just going to walk you through to Dave Portnoy's Twitter feed. He has a lot going on too with the Barstool Fund stuff, how he himself has so much money in his account and he's giving back to the community, supporting local restaurants and small businesses. It is just incredible to see. Like for me, I love seeing rich people give back. Especially people like Dave, who is active with his audience. Like he actually puts himself out there and works in the community. But just seeing his Twitter posts, and seeing how active he is against these other billionaires who literally blatantly are slapping us in the face with what's going on right now, encouraging everyone to hold, retweeting informative tweets like the short interest for GameStop, the short interest for AMC. If AMC closes above $9 today, all the calls. So what this is talking about is how on Friday there were options contracts that expired on Friday for $9. And I don't want to dive too deep into this whole option thing, but AMC needed to close above $9 on Friday in order for us to even have a chance of making the way up this week. So the fact that it did is a very, very optimistic and hopeful sign for us. They want you to sell your GME, yada, 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 because they won't let you buy it back, which was facts. Don't let the crooks win. You see, man, like, you have all these tweets from him just in support of us. And from someone who's already rich to see him and so many other people support us, it's been really cool to see, you know, the sense of unity and togetherness. It's something that I haven't really seen in a very long time. So it's been really cool. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. All in all, I hope I did a good enough job of explaining this whole thing. Obviously, there are a lot of emotions that come along with this, but I did my best to try to explain this in an objective manner. I personally, like, from my personal opinion, Robinhood needs to be held accountable. Not only Vlad, who I think should be in prison. I don't know why. Like, these guys can get away from it because they have the money, right? To, you know, dance their way around the situation. But what the hedge funds are accusing us of doing, which is illegally coming together to pump a stock, the hedge funds have been doing this for years, but for the opposite reason of pushing the stock down. So what we're doing, it's fine. Like, we are investing in our own risk. Robinhood has no place in all of a sudden delisting the stocks just out of nowhere. It makes no sense. Before I ramble on though, like, the whole point of Robinhood, just the story of it, is to take money from the rich and give it to the poor. And like Chris Cuomo eloquently said in his interview with Vlad, whatever the fuck his name is, they're doing the complete opposite. They are taking money from us, the poor, from us, the average person, and giving it all to the wealthy and the hedge funds and the 1%. All in all, guys, this is going to be a good week, hopefully, with the shorts covering. This is going to be a very interesting week. I'm going to wake up early as hell tomorrow, despite having so much homework and class at 8 a.m. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you guys, too. One of my classes starts at market open, and this lady, the professor that I have, literally, I can't look away for 2 seconds without getting called on, and it's ridiculous. So I want to do my best to monitor the market and see how things are looking. But I am very optimistic for this week. We are literally going to burn Wall Street to the ground, and they can do whatever they want to do, whatever they can, to try to bring us down and continue the shorting that they've been doing. But the limits have been raised. You can buy now, obviously at a limited quantity, but you can buy now nonetheless. As soon as this whole fiasco is done, I am switching brokers for good. Screw Robinhood and whatever agenda that they have. It's just ridiculous, man. But yeah, guys, I am not a financial advisor in any way. Take my words with a grain of salt. I just wanted to be informative and let you guys know what was going on. But I just want to also point out that I have $20 in Dogecoin right now. I have a rather small position in GameStop, but I have a decent amount of money in GameStop. But I'm balls deep in AMC. Almost, I want to say 90% of my portfolio is in AMC right now. So I'm very hopeful and optimistic, but at the same time, guys, invest at your own risk. But if you do invest, know that you're part of the greater good and something truly special. So this is going to be a story that we end up telling our kids. when we're older, if you are a part of the movement, this is something like people have been investing for years and they've never seen anything like this. So it really is something to behold, really something incredible. And I personally feel like I'm doing my part by being all in on AMC and GameStop. So, guys, let me know what you guys think. Please like the video if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. I have no idea how long this video is going to end up becoming because I wasn't keeping track of time. But nonetheless, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking with me. Love all the support. I love you guys so much. And here's to a great, great week for these meme stocks. We're gonna burn these shorts, fuck these hedge funds over, and we're gonna make some money. So yeah, guys, this is not financial advice. Invest at your own risk, and thank you for tuning in. On to the next episode. Peace.